Where do you think Hitler got the idea that subhumans, drunks, syphilitics, Semites were a disease to be wiped out? Mengele raised himself up. Decades of perceived wrong and fused his words with self-righteous fury. Boy, I'm even doing the exposition now with a creepy accent. I was raised in Germany. Almost enough to hide the self-pity underneath. You inspired us, America inspired us. Don't you see? I wanted to go to Auschwitz, to conduct research, to preserve the race. But wait. Mengele seemed hungry to be understood, to share his passion. I feel like I'm reading at a prom. These lights are just killing me. It's great. Couldn't get a date, but they asked me to read it. I did not quote you the last line of your Justice Holmes' opinion. 3 generations of idiots is enough. Do you understand what this meant? We in the fatherland needed a scientific way to remove the unfit. And here, in the enlightened USA, 29 states passed laws to sterilize the feeble. You showed us the way. America handed Germany the matches, and Hitler started the fire. I actually got that off a bumper sticker, so I got attribution. Fuck all y'all's bullshit, the Reverend said. There you are, said Mengele, disgusted. America is sick of it. Meanwhile, America's enemy, Al-Qaeda, sends Down syndrome victims into the market with remote-controlled bombs on their back. This is genius. Why kill the unfit when you could use them as weapons? That is true ecology. The highbrow part right there. That was my portal. Doctor, I asked mildly, why do you want to be fine now? Why? To claim the honor that is rightly mine, spume few from his mouth. Werner von Braun, that whore, ran slave camps and came here because your JFK, that priapic, tiny-dicked fraud, was more interested in putting a man on the moon than the life and death struggle to save his own race. Because, and this is the coolest joke, the unworthy populate like maggots. Today, your rich rights require fertility clinics. Well, Mengele invented fertility clinics. Auschwitz was the first. My goal was always increase the good, eliminate the bad. What is life, asked Mengele, but killing the weak to save the strong? If it takes a trial to reveal my accomplishments, to get the honor I deserve as a man of science, then so be it. Try me now. There it was. The man did not just want to be caught. He wanted to be lauded. To be, I felt the bulbous visage of Dr. Phil peeping over my shoulder. To be loved. Thank you. I think I've used up my minutes, so you know, I'm deaf from playing bad rock and roll, so I'm just going to ignore people shouting bore. And just plow ahead. This is really quick, and forgive me, but some no-taste creep in the audience asked me to read this, and I feel like, you know, it's like when Babe Ruth said it hit a home run for the kid who had cancer. You know, it's just the thing you do. So at one point the guy stick out his hand, Quentin, so he disguises himself as a Hasidic Jew. And this is that little scene, then I'll get the fuck off. On an airplane, Southwest. Where fat people can't fly. Easy joke. On the plane, I felt the eyes of the passengers with open seats, the expressions of naked dread and loathing as I passed. At the airport, I checked myself out in the men's room. The Hasid who stared back at me from the mirror was as interchangeable as all the others I'd seen strolling Beverly Boulevard in satin overcoats on 90-degree Saturdays. I was invisible, perfect. It's the Fairfax section of LA, known to the Jews who live there as the Nose Bowl. That's what the Jews call it. I am a Jew, I can say that. On the plane, I felt the eyes of the passengers with open seats, the expressions of naked dread and loathing as I passed, a walking bundle of hot day satin, fur, and frills. Please don't sit here. Please don't sit here. Please don't sit here. Again, autobiographical. But a big, creamy blonde, I guess a not-so-long-ago cheerleader, licked her lips when I parked my shtetl stud self beside her in 9A. She put down her copy of Exodus by way of broadcasting her Semitic leanings. Her teeth were health book perfect, her blue eyes blasting troubled smarts. What's under all that satin and fur? My seatmate's eyes seem to be asking. Do you know the guys wear the fur and the thing, the Vegas? 100 degrees, heavy coat, no BO. No sooner had I opened my free USA Today than she canted sideways and whispered, "Is it true?" Beg your pardon? My head itched, but I was afraid to scratch for fear my fake locks would fall off. It's not smoked fish, it's the payas that they have inside of their heads. You know, she continued, is it true about the sheet? That you only do it through a hole in the sheet once a week? Is your God kinky or what? I watched her twist her wedding ring, trying either to keep it on or yank it off. You have no idea, I said. Fuck, I should have bailed after Bengal, I'm dying. Oh well, we all learned a lesson. Turned out she'd already had a little gin party in the airport lounge. 11 beefeaters later, on a 50-minute flight, she told me her name was Dinah, after Dinah Shore, which was her first inkling that her mom was gay. Dinah let me know that she was 42 and formerly married to a beefneck named Ted, who worked in her father's sportswear emporium, and she really, really wanted to try some sheet holing. A term with which I was unfamiliar. You know, Dinah giggled, tamping spilled gin off her beige pantsuit. Jew sex. Getting my orthodox on. Doing it kosher style. You stick it through the hole and then lay down, or you cover me with the sheet, then move the hole till it's right over my cookie. There's the voice. Mistaking my silence for shock, she grabbed my arm. Concern flashed from her Aryan blue irises. I am a big, big supporter of the Israeli people. Thank you. What else could I say? Was there a wave of blonde-on bagel sex I had no idea about? She reached for my schmiddock. It's a fur hat, actually. Fur hat. Can I try it on? No, I said, seizing her hand. What are you doing? It's a man hat. Only men can touch it. Wow. We both stared at my paw wrapped around hers, then she withdrew and parked her hand on her chest as if to express her virtue. Wow, she repeated, yes, it's in the Bible, I lied, only men. Her thigh pressed mine. I know a hotel near the airport. I can't stop thinking about that sheet. Egyptian cotton. Or is that too Muslim? I bet they have polyblend. She clasped my shoulder with new urgency. Do you cut the hole yourself, or do they have kosher party stores? Didn't matter whether Dinah was my type. The fact that she had this thing that got her hot, the specificity of her freakdom, flipped my switch in some wild kingdom kind of way. Before you time, Marlon Perkins, pre-cable. Well, I passed up a date. I did take the opportunity to peek in the Porto pharmacy disguised as a Marc Jacobs purse that Dinah left on a seat when she went to tinkle. Depakote, lithium, Lexapro, NyQuil, Boniva, Valium. I thought about filching her Valium, but the way she'd spilled her drink, it felt criminal to deny the woman her relief. I had to live with myself. I still had the piggish reflex to steal drugs, even if I didn't intend to use them. My first year off everything, I continued to raid medicine cabinets on general principle. I wasn't proud of it. I was so miserable, I didn't even want the drugs. I just didn't want anybody else to have them. Drug Grinch. I knew if I wanted to survive with any kind of serenity, I had to unclench the fist that was my dope fiend heart, just so I could live in a world where other humans got high and I didn't. That's the feel-good part of the evening. Dinah staggered back and passed out on contact with her seat cushion. She drooled prettily until we landed. Thanks a lot.